Good morning from Dolní Vítkovice here in Ostrava, and we are at Futureum with our guest today, Gilles Wadjas.
Hello.
From Ivory Coast. But let's go downstairs and have a coffee instead. It's a bit windy up here.
And then I was like, okay, I want to go somewhere. I don't know where. So let's try to apply to some job and see.
To Czech Republic was your first
Exactly.
European?
I'm a big Switchcover fan.
That's good.
Ostrava is good for raising kids, not too much criminality. It's calm city, peaceful. When I came in this country, since I felt kind of alone, so we created a kind of group where we share information, only Africans.
How often do you go back to Ivory Coast?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've never been there since.
You haven't been back?
Yes.
For 9 years?
No, because every time I plan to go, my wife is pregnant.
This is Expat Episodes, when news stories begin. I'm Ian, your host, and I'll be guiding you through the stories of expats in the Czech Republic. Good morning from Futureum in Dolní Vítkovice. We're here with another edition of Expat Episodes from the Ostrava Expat Center. And today's guest, we've got Gilles Wadjas from Ivory Coast, am I correct?
Yes, Ivory Coast.
Perfect. We have spoken before at a cultural event recently, but now we get to speak to you privately, one-on-one, and get to know more about you and everything. So please, tell us, first off, where you come from and where your home is and how long you have been here in Ostrava. You live in Ostrava.
Yeah, I live in Ostrava. So hello, Jan. Thank you very much for the invitation. So yeah, I've been in Ostrava for 9 years now. So next year will be 10 years in this beautiful city. So yeah, so far the experience is great. Nice people. Yeah, the food is good. Yeah, so far I really enjoy it.
Now, what were you doing in Ivory Coast before you came here? Oh, what city in Ivory Coast are you from?
I was living in the capital of the country, which is Abidjan.
Abidjan?
Yeah, nice city. The weather is quite warm comparing to here. 27 degree, 28, 30, 31.
So you don't get any snow in winter?
Not at all, yeah. And by the way, it was my first time to see snow when I came to Europe.
Really? It was
yeah,
the first
exactly.
time? Yeah.
So all the time, summertime in Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast. And yeah, so what I was doing, because I studied computer science, so I was working there in a little startup where I was technical sales manager over there. Yeah. And then after some time, I decided to go abroad, but I couldn't find an opportunity in France, Paris, or in big cities like, or UK, whatever, United States. But I found an offer in India.
In India?
Yeah.
Okay. What part of India?
At the capital, New Delhi.
Okay.
So I went to India. It was great. Spent 1 year, 6 months over there. And then I didn't want to live there forever. So I started applying again to some jobs, see what I can, find. And then Czech Republic chose me. I was lucky to get an offer in Czech Republic.
But a bigger question is, how did you choose Czech Republic? I mean,
Yeah.
as you said, other people say UK or Paris or something like
Exactly,
this.
yeah.
But did you just look on a map and went there?
No, it's funny because, in my bedroom in India, I had the map of the world, Okay. And then I was like, okay, I want to go somewhere. I don't know where. So let's try to apply to some job and see where to go. At the beginning, I was focusing on big places like, London, Paris, even Canada, Montreal, and so on. But big cities, there was an issue about work permit, and so on. So I'm like, okay, now what I will do, I will try in all countries in Europe, like Schengen and so on, and see what can happen. So then I will happen the map country by country and applying to all offer I can find. And then get a lot of rejection in some big places. But Czech Republic, Poland, Hungary, I saw a lot of yes.
Really?
Yeah. The first yes came from Czech Republic. And then they gave me an offer that I liked, I accepted. And then just for fun, I was trying to keep applying to some other things to see. And then I got some offer in Poland and Hungary. Then I realized that, yeah, this part of the world, I think they are more open to get foreigner. And also, I think because it was not easy for the companies to find maybe this kind of profile to speak like French and a bit of technical and so on. But big cities is common to see some French speaker and all the skills they want, you know. So I think that's why I got the offer in Czech Republic and I came here.
So you were looking still into jobs in computers
Yeah, in the area.
and
Yeah.
IT in that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you came from New Delhi
Yeah.
to Czech Republic.
Czech Republic, yes.
And which company did you work for then or now? Or is it the same company now as then?
No, it's different now. At the beginning, the company who hired me from India was Okin/Verizon. That company were kind of doing outsourcing for a bigger company in the United States, which was Verizon. And then after some time, yeah, Verizon decided to come here and so on. So I was working for Verizon for all this year, for like 5 years. Then recently, 3 years ago, I changed to Siemens.
Okay.
And yeah, it's great as well over there.
You said you did a lot of traveling before. So where else besides India did you travel over to France and Paris and things like that? Or was it all just online?
No, it was my first time to come to Europe. Yeah, it was.
To Czech Republic was your first European?
Exactly.
Well, what a good introduction.
Exactly, yeah. So Czech opened me the doors of Europe, you know.
Uh-huh.
So when I came to Czech Republic, the next month, the first city I wanted to visit was Paris. So I went to Paris to see a bit the Eiffel Tower and so on because, you know, since you're a kid, you just want to see the Eiffel Tower. You
To
know?
be a tourist, to be a good tourist.
Exactly. So I went there to visit, but after I came back and enjoyed my lovely Ostrava, yeah.
And when you got brought in by Verizon, was it directly to Ostrava? Or did you start in Prague or somewhere
No,
different?
directly Ostrava.
Directly Ostrava.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Ostrava hired me
all right.
from India.
Now,
Yeah.
as coming to Ostrava, which, of course, especially 9 years ago or whatever, had a little bit of a different reputation and in the past. How was it coming into a place like this, a very industrial city? You're not in Prague, where a lot of the tourists go. You're not in Olomouc or Brno or Pelch or any of these places. So you come to Ostrava. What was your first impression? What was your idea of this place?
That's a good question because, you know, it was my first time to be in Europe. Yeah. So Ostrava was my first experience. So I thought that all Europe looked like this.
Okay.
And then slowly when I started traveling around, then I saw the difference. Okay, so Ostrava is, you know, has its own charm and so on. But other cities also has some other thing to show to the world, you know. So, but after 9 years traveling around, I will say Ostrava is kind of like calm city, not too much crowded as bigger cities. And I like it. I like it because it's very calm. And my parents came to visit there. They love it as well because if you want to have rest, if you want to, you know, have peaceful life and so on, it's been good for raising kids. For raising kids, it's amazing. It's amazing comparing to other bigger city. So, yeah.
Well, usually I get to the whole thing about local area at the end, but we can start now because you mentioned. So when you came here, what are things about Ostrava, besides, as you said, good for children and families? You have a family here now?
Yes, I do have family. Yeah.
So you're married? Any children?
Yeah, I have 3 children.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Great. And what ages are they?
My first boy is 7 years now.
Okay.
Second is 6, and my girl 3 years.
Oh, lovely. Well, great to have a big family.
Yeah, big families.
So what are the things about Ostrava or the region, like what are your recommendations for either other visitors or families, things that you like? So what's a good thing for children?
There's a lot of event every weekend. You have to go on Facebook and see all the events that you can find. We have the zoo, we have some aqua park, we have several activities. So what I can recommend to people with families, when you come here, please be online and you will see all the events for your kids. You will not be bored at all.
What are some other, like personal for you, what are some good places that you would recommend? Like a good place to eat or a good place to visit or mountains to go to or villages nearby?
but I don't have the name in my head.
I know for us foreigners, sometimes the names of places are like Ovice something, you know.
Exactly. So my wife is Czech, so she has all the names, so she can tell me. But regarding food, I will not indicate a particular restaurant, but I will ask any foreigner to try the Svichkova. It's very good.
Oh, you're a Svichkova fan.
Yeah, I'm a big Svichkova fan.
That's good. That's good.
So try Svichkova, you will love it. And also goulash, it's good. And the bramboli salad and the pork, that is good as well. And yeah.
What is the cooking like back in Ivory Coast? What do you normally eat? What is kind of the staple foods? You know, here you said Svichkova, smajak, things like that. But what is the difference between the foods?
The difference, okay, the Ivory Coast food is very chili, like spicy and so on. Here is not too much chili, yeah. But with the year, I get used to it. So my level of appreciating chili food now a bit decreased. So I don't like chili food too much anymore.
It has changed you so much.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, and in Ivory Coast, for example, we have a particular food that we eat is kind of couscous of manioc. It's called atieke. Yeah, it's couscous of manioc that you can eat with fried fish, or you can eat it with some meat as well, chicken or whatever. So yeah.
How do you deal with, you know, you're in a country with no sea. How are you dealing with no good fish? Or okay, that's not right. There is good fish. It's just not directly from the
yeah, exactly. This part I'm missing a bit from my country. I'm missing these parts, but yeah, you get used to it.
All right. And when you came here, and now you're married with children, what would you say has been some of the? Have there been any like difficulties with the paperwork or getting your visa, getting registered? I am guessing you have permanent residency now
Yeah.
because marriage.
My case was quite easy because the company who hired me has a dedicated person to manage everything for me. So we just go, she speak with the people at the foreign policy, she does all the paperwork. Me, I just sign. And yeah, everything was done for
Put your name on it. And go.
exactly. So this I really appreciate from the companies who hire a foreigner. Usually they do everything for you, so no headache. You don't have to worry about all this paperwork. Yeah.
So you got most of it done when you were with Verizon and everything was done?
Exactly.
Okay. So how is your Czech now?
Ah, that's a good question.
You've been here long enough with a wife and children, so
Yeah. But what did not play in my advantage is like I speak English all the time. English with my wife, English at work, English everywhere. So
okay.
my Czech is very. But this year I'm motivated to learn Czech.
I don't know if it's like you, but you know, my child is Polish, and every time I try to speak Polish, he just looks at me and goes, Dad, no.
Let's go to Czech. Hey,
No.
English.
Just go back to English, Dad, forget it.
Yeah.
So I kind of got connected with you through the Ostrava Expat Center. And you kind of help them with something. Could you tell us about that? What do you do? And what has been your experience? How did you get involved with the Ostrava Expat Center at the start? And what do you do now?
Yes, with the Ostrava Expat Center, I was working on the project, like teaching IT network to foreigner and helping them to get a IT job. And it has been a great experience so far. So big thanks to Alena and Race. They helped me a lot to promote the cause and help people to get these IT skills. So far it has been great. Through this training, few people get some job already. And yeah, this is what we try to continue.
How often do you do this with the? Is there specific days you work with the expat center, or is it just organized once a month or something?
What we do, people register and then we meet once per week, and during a 6-month period or 3 months, it depends. Okay. Yeah. So for 3 months, they have some training, and then we do some lab session at the Ostrava Expat Center. They play with equipment, and then they get all the skills they need to get the technical job.
Okay. And do you have kind of like a specialization in your computer work that you do now with your job and with anything? What kind of focus are you on besides computers?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yes, right now in the company where I work, I'm focusing on wireless, because when you are a network engineer, you manage the routers, the firewall, the switches, and also the wireless part. So it's a complex infrastructure, and me right now I'm focusing on wireless in the company where I'm working.
Okay, like just to like for connection or
For
something?
connection, exactly, for connection, using access point, Wi-Fi. So I help customers in the factories, in the enterprises, whatever the customer might need, and I help them establish, the wireless system.
You told me earlier that as well that you, with your job, you have to go to Prague like twice a week, yes? Or
Yeah,
once or
yeah,
twice a week?
twice, yeah.
So give me your comparison of Prague to Ostrava. Try to promote Ostrava. No, what do you think between the two cities? How do you find, as you said, you kind of fell in love with this place
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff. But why not move your family to Prague?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question.
If your job is there, it's a little, but no.
Ostrava is good for raising kids, not too much criminality, and it's calm city, peaceful. In Prague, people are quite very active. The city is like moving a lot. But and Ostrava is more calm, and this is what my family would like it. We like this kind of calm environment, not too much crowdy, relax. So it's good for families, yes, Ostrava.
Well, that leads to the next question that we discussed once before at the other conference. Uh, how do you feel? Has there been any discomfort for you or anything like being a person of color from Africa coming here? And, most people know Czech, Poland, or Slavic countries as 99.9% white.
Yeah.
So we spoke about this a little before this, but yeah, how has your experience been here, especially away from the capital, which might have more variety, but you're here in Ostrava.
Yeah.
What has been your experience?
Regarding the fact that you're not white, you're black, right? I will say that the only downside is that you feel kind of alone and you feel a bit different. And you feel like, yeah, you're a foreigner. You really feel like a foreigner because you walk on the zoo or you walk somewhere and you don't see any other black person. You are the only black in a big area. Yeah. So I would tell to any foreigner, have it in mind, because if you don't like it, get used to it.
Has there ever been any blatant racism to you at all?
No, in 9 years, no.
So I know you are also involved a bit in like, there's like the groups of there's the Afro Ostrava festival coming that we did the event on, the Connecting Cultures thing here. And for me coming in as well, it was so amazing to see such a big variety. There was others from Ghana and Ethiopia and stuff like this. Are you involved in this kind of group of people as well, getting the cultures together?
Yes. When I came in this country, since I felt kind of alone, so we created a kind of group where we share information, only Africans, so that we don't feel alone. We share information. So in our group, we have people from Ghana, South Africa, Botswana, whatever, all countries in Africa, and we share information. And one of our brother is organizing the Afro Strava, and yeah, I want to invite everyone to come. It would be amazing, where you will see African culture, African music, African food. Yeah, you will taste Africa in Ostrava.
When is it again?
Somewhere in August.
August? Yeah. And how many days? Like 2-3 days?
2-3 days, yeah.
Yeah.
A bit like Colors of Ostrava,
Yeah.
but in the African style.
I like this. We both did this event on it. Like, when is it? How many days? 2, 3? With this group that you have online, I
Yes,
guess,
yeah.
do you get the chance to meet up a lot? Do you get to, or is it just mostly online now? Because I know people have families and get involved in
Exactly,
life. So,
exactly. At the beginning, when we were all young, no family, it was easy to have some regular meeting and so on. But right now, everyone's growing up, family's busy, so we usually meet online. We organized not long time ago a big event at Ostrava Expo Center. Yeah, the videos are online. You will see where we have a good food. It was a Christmas party.
oh, lovely. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was very good. We might organize this soon as well, I think. Yeah.
And we'll kind of start coming down now. Is there something you miss of home that you wish you could find here, or besides family, of course, missing family? But is there something you are missing? Like, how often do you go back to Ivory Coast?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've never been there since.
You haven't been back
Yes.
for 9 years.
No, because every time I plan to go, my wife is pregnant.
Well, I kind of think that's your problem too. I think you're a part of this. Okay.
Anytime I say, okay, we go next year, then she's pregnant, and okay, let's wait a bit. When it's time to go, she's not pregnant again. So I get 3 kids, so.
All right. All
But
right.
now we have decided kids are growing nicely, so we're gonna go like next year. We all go, yeah.
So yes. So what do you miss from home?
What I miss is the sea, We don't have the sea here. In my country, you have the sea. In Ivory Coast, you have the sea nearby, so you can swim every day. Yeah, this is what I'm missing. And also this warm weather. I'm suffering a bit during deep winter here.
I mean, it is middle of or end of May, and it's already been like 5 degrees at night still.
Yeah, exactly. So during winter, then I'm really missing Côte d'Ivoire, the sun and so on. Yeah, this is what I'm missing a bit here.
How do you handle the cold here? Do you do well during winter, or do you just wrap up like 20 billion blankets?
Exactly. At the beginning, I was having 2 winter jackets, but now I get used to it, so I have only 1 winter jacket.
Ah, okay, you're acclimatizing little
Yeah.
by little.
And at the beginning, I have like when I'm sleeping, 2 or 3 bed sheets of winter, but now I'm getting used to it slowly. Yeah, so I'm suffering a little bit, but I'm managing now more than before.
You have to for the family. You have to for
Exactly.
the-
Yeah.
Is there something else going on in your life, something else you want to talk about, something that you're doing or presenting or coming up with that you would get your chance to do any promotion for that you want to tell people about?
Like privately, I'm working on a education platform where I'm teaching people about like IT, AI, and the website is acroai.info.
Okay, we can put it down in the description. Please,
Yeah,
just
exactly. So people can just check it out. And even though right now I'm promoting this more in Africa, but everyone is free to join and see there are many courses and so on. You will see many AI tools that you can use.
okay, so it's just kind of like a learning
A
platform.
learning platform, exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
for IT and
Exactly.
AI stuff.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's kind of for hobby now, but in the future it might be something serious.
Okay.
Yeah, so people are free to see and see. They might see something interesting about IT and AI.
And that's personally on that issue. Well, I'd love to thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And I look forward to the Afro Ostrava Festival, seeing
Yeah.
you there. And with that last meeting we had with the Connecting Cultures, yeah, I'm a spicy food person myself, so it was
Oh.
great to meet all the other people.
Yes.
So, I'll bring some spices to you next time to get you back into the...
That would be nice. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you
us
so
in
much.
this.
It was a pleasure.
And thank you all so very much for watching again, and we'll be around next time. And if you've got a story for us, contact us, and we'd love to talk to you as well. So, see you next time.
Bye.
This podcast is proudly brought to you by Ostrava Expat Center.